Started. I hope you all have came ready to play some games today. We're going to talk a little bit about games, how to use the same game virtually and face to face. And the thought behind that was we have learned something from COVID. Things can change in an instant. So, what you have planned out for face to face may change to virtual quickly. So we're going to go over 5 different games today, and we're going to discuss how you would play them in person, and then we're going to actually play them virtually. So hopefully it'll give you some ideas and make you start thinking about things that you can be prepared for, so that you don't have to feel frustrated, with the change of venue anyway, and you are already in your toolbox, ready to roll. Miss Bethany is helping today. She's going to monitor chat. We'll be using that some. And I really appreciate Bethany helping. Okay. Welcome to you all who just signed in. Today, what we're going to do first, we're going to think. I want you all to think of some of your favorite games that you've played at trainings, or not necessarily even at trainings, but that you played when you were maybe a child, or you played at a training or something. But I want you to think about some of those, and we're going to talk about them later. We're going to talk about the games, and we're implementing them into trainings, both face-to-face and online. And we will have a time for you all to share after the games. And we want you to have fun today. We're going to at least play one round of each game, and I hope you all will find it fun and just kind of a break for your afternoon. And then at the end, we will talk about what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you can come up with, what kind of games that you feel like you could easily adapt to be either face-to-face or just with a switch online. Okay, this is our first game. It is the majority stays, and how we will play that is, if we were in person, I would have you all stand up and maybe have 2 different color cards, and I would ask you a question. Do you like mornings versus evenings? And if you like mornings, you would do red or blue or whatever we assign the color to, or raise your hand. The trainer sets the rules. So if you weren't in the majority at the end of the question, you're out. So you would be asked to sit down. Today, that would be in person, but today and online, I'm going to do it just a hair bit different. It's still the majority stays, but I'm going to ask you to use annotate or a reaction at the bottom of your screen. If you could use a reaction, anyone you want to, I will give you that choice. So I will say, if you prefer this versus this, then annotate. And then those of you who are not in the majority will be out for the next round. Are there any questions? Let's practice one. Nobody will be out. We're just going to practice. Who likes hot versus cold? If you like hot better than cold, use your annotate. Or reaction, I'm sorry, at the bottom. Okay, I'm seeing some. I'm seeing. Okay.
So are you saying if you don't like it, you don't react? Only react if you do like hot better than cold?
Only react if you like hot better than cold. Okay, and you may need to do it again because they do go off before we could get the answer. And Bethany?
I think it's the majority no, because even when I'm watching the react number, just like we've got maybe about 6 people who have reacted yes.
Okay, so the cold won out. Nobody's out. That was a practice round, but now I'm going to read some things to you, and does anybody have any questions before we proceed?
If we're not in the majority and we don't stay, how are we identifying that today?
Good question. You can move away I would ask you to turn your camera off, but many of you don't have it on right now. If you will step away, step back to where it doesn't look like you are in the game, maybe move to one side or the other so we can tell when we're down to the person or persons that win.
Okay. And that would be also what I would just encourage. If any of you have your cameras currently off, but you are able to turn them on, please do so, because it will help us to be able to better identify who's still in the
Yes.
majority and who's not. So,
And it doesn't matter which reaction you put up there, just as long as you respond with one.
Just
Okay.
as long as you react with one. Okay, if you prefer basketball over football, give a reaction. It's looking like we've got a football. Is that what you're seeing, Bethany?
yeah, I saw about 8 people that reacted, but we've got 26. So
Yeah.
again, I would say the majority would be football.
Okay, if you were in the majority, you're staying. If you like basketball better, you're out. So if you will step back from the screen or step to the side, however you would like to do that so that we know you're not in the next round. If you like lemons better than limes, annotate or react. I believe limes have it. So if you did not say lime, you're out of this next round. If you like chocolate better than strawberry, react. Wow, I figured chocolate would win.
Well, we had about 4 react, but for how many people are still in, I think that actually is still the majority.
So chocolate is the winner. Okay, if you like roller skating better than ice skating, react.
And it's only because I've never ice skated before.
Okay, I'd say we had more reactions to that one.
Okay, so roller skating won.
Yep.
Okay, if you were not in the roller skating majority, you are out next round. Okay, here's a good one. If you prefer a nap to jogging, react. I'm not seeing any.
Well, we had 3 people react, but it's also hard to tell other than Donna, Audria, Carrie, and Virginia, who's still in the who's still on.
Playing. Okay.
I have my hand up. You can't see that reaction.
Well,
Yeah, and then Sarah also is showing a reaction. So I guess we have about then 6 people, but then only 2 people raise their hand. So I guess those 2 would be in the minority.
okay, so the jog one, am I right?
Yeah, jogging actually was the winner.
Okay, and the next one is if you prefer cats over dogs, react. Did we have any? Yeah, I see one. I believe dogs won. If you prefer pencils over ink pens, react.
Only 1 reaction, so I think pens won.
Ink pens won. If you prefer a shower over a bath, react. So
I think 1 versus 2.
bath won. I can't, they're broke out into two different screens, so I have to click back and forth to see. If you like bananas better than oranges, react. I didn't see any.
I didn't see any. Who's still in at this point? Because I'm also trying to figure that out to make sure I'm.
Mhm. Is anybody still in?
Okay, we may have actually wiped everybody out without realizing it. It does
Well,
get a little harder doing this one virtual would not necessarily, if we had all cameras working, it would have been easier
It
and
would have
or
been.
turning all cameras off.
yes, I agree. So there is already something to make a note on that game to give us some bigger, better ideas for the next time. So let's move on to the second game. And it is the EE words. And in this game, all of the vowels are replaced with the double E. The first one that enters their answer into chat first will get a point. Let me clear. Okay. So the first one that enters the correct answer into chat will win. Now, if we were face to face, you could play this with a chalkboard or whiteboard, or have a handout with all of the words on it that they could try to determine what they were. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Okay, remember every vowel is replaced with two E's. So here's the first one to enter the correct answer into chat. Okay,
Joel Baker got it.
awesome. Congratulations. Let's move on to number 2. Enter your guesses into chat.
Looks like Hope Rice got that one.
All right, good job, Hope. That's a big word. Oh, somebody's already got it, haven't they?
Rachel's a fast typer there.
Very good. Very nice.
Rachel, will you please stop showing off?
She won't talk to you when she's playing a game now. You have to wait.
Scrolling back up, Joel got that one as well.
Very good, Joel. Another point for him. Let's see who can get the next one.
And Rachel got it again.
Oh, congratulations, Rachel. These are all familiar early childhood terms.
Oh, looks like someone else. Gotta scroll back up real quick.
I'm sorry, Virginia, but misspellings don't count.
Well, Pamela Milligan actually got it before Virginia on my side. So Pamela Milligan got that one.
Good job.
And yes, the correct answer was dolls. Okay.
There's rolling the answers in.
And Pamela again.
All right, Pamela, you're doing good.
Pamela, please tell us your internet speed because I think you're getting to see the screen before us.
Okay, I'll count this one down. 3, 2, 1. This one we had some split answers. We had some people, but Joel got books.
All right.
Nice,
Oh,
nice try, Carla.
interesting.
Okay. And so, yeah, we got, I don't know how many more we got, but all right. So 3, 2, 1. And Pamela got that one, just
All
barely.
right.
Some of them are going pretty fast.
They are.
All right, next one in 3, 2, 1.
Seems to be a popular one.
And Joel with nap time.
Right.
And that was our last one. So Joel won it out. He got 4 points. Pamela had 3, Rachel had 2, and Hope had 1. So congratulations and thank you all for participating.
Yes, good job. The next game that we're going to play.
This was fun.
Well, I'm glad it's about your nap time, Joel. So hopefully this wakes you up. So now you won't need this nap.
You better wake up, Joel. This one is going to be active. So our next game is going to be a scavenger hunt. Now we have a list of words, a list of items that you need to find and bring back, because you will have to show them if you say you found them all, or show what say what you found. You will be given 3 minutes. We could probably do 5, Bethany, if we could, or however we want to do it. So you're going to have a time limit, and you're going to have to run and collect all of these items and bring them back to your screen. Let the game begin.
I'm going to say 3 because that's what we have the timer set for, and it's gonna be
Okay.
hard to change it.
That's fine. You go with 3.
But I will show it for about 30 seconds before I start the timer. So that way it makes it at least a little fair if you're not just looking at it for the whole 3 minutes. So.
Yeah. That's a good wide selection of items.
I will go ahead and start. Sorry. I was trying to hit start on the timer.
You don't realize how short 3 minutes is until you're looking for something.
These add-in plugger timers do not like me. So I'm going to do a personal.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, you guys will not be able to see it. I'm just going to start it at 2.5 minutes at this point.
Okay. You can just maybe give us alerts at 2 minutes and stuff like that. I will tell you all, if whoever is listening, I was attending a baby shower, and the lady that hosted it sent out a copy of the games that were going to be played, because it was virtual baby shower. And one of them was a scavenger hunt. And I had the best time collecting all that stuff and getting it all together. And I had it all in a little bag. Went to the virtual baby shower, and they didn't even play that game.
Oh,
I was so disappointed.
But you were inspired for this activity.
I
It's
was.
all worth it.
I thoroughly enjoyed, trying to find and grab and get the stuff, and then I was disappointed. But that's all right. This
Oh.
is a good one, either face to face or virtually.
so Tina says here, so Tina may have all of her items,
Okay.
but we're still we got about 1.5 minutes left. So for
All
the rest
right.
of you, keep going and see what you can finish grabbing in. Actually, we got. You people must have a lot of neat stuff around your house to already have all this stuff in that short time frame.
And it's a variety of stuff, you know, it's not like all one thing.
My house is under construction, so if you would have said dust, plastic.
I was afraid to.
Rachel. I'd be on it.
Rachel.
Okay, about 45 seconds.
We will see. I got a little bit of movement in as well today. Searching for all the items on the list.
All right, and that is our time. So now I can make. Yay, time's up.
Okay, Miss Tina, you were the first one to check in. Can you turn your camera on? You've got your camera already on. Can you show a red ink pen? Miss Christine, okay.
Tina's got
How
it.
about the pumpkin? All right. A picture with you in it. Awesome. Children's book. Okay. A candle. Coloring book. Scissors. Paintbrush. Crayons. Sippy cup. You were the winner, Miss Tina. Fantastic. You did,
I think you
very
sent her that list ahead of time.
I have all of that in my office.
okay.
Oh,
Very good. You did a good job. 3 minutes. That's not a lot of time to find stuff. Very good. Okay. Our next game is it's Say What, I believe.
Let me get it back up.
You're fine. I'm not rushing you. Yep, Say What. And it's very similar if you play it face to face or virtually. With face to face, you would provide handouts with the statements on them. Today, we're going to use a PowerPoint like we did in the EE game earlier. And you can also, as a trainer, you can adapt your theme to what you're looking for. So today, I'm asking you to name the children's song that these lyrics come from. First correct answer typed into the chat gets a point. Anybody have any questions?
does spelling count?
If we can tell what you're trying to say, no. And I'll tell you why I say that. When my son was in kindergarten, he's autistic, and he failed every word on his test. He had 10 that he missed them all, but I could look at them and know what he meant, you know, what the word was. So that just gave me reassurance that he was getting it. He was getting what we were trying to teach him, and it just encouraged me. So if it's not so misspelled that we can't tell what it is, we'll take it. Any other questions? Okay, let's see the first
Here goes our first one.
the first verse, I guess. Wherever I wander, whenever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. Type your answer into chat if you have one. We'll Somebody has typed in. Jennifer,
Jennifer put bare necessities. And she's correct.
she is correct. Very good. Let's see what the next one is. With a knick-knack paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This is showing my age, but that's okay. Ah, a lot of people knew that one. Let's see who won.
Dr. Wanda.
All right.
Dr. Wanda Jean, yes. And I did get the pronouns correct too with capital letters, if that is worth extra points.
Well, the winner has to sing a verse of the song.
With a knick-knack paddywhack, giving dog a bone, this old man came rolling home.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Kim. She's my inspiration.
The next verse is she'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. It's hard for me not to sing these when I read them.
Now, the title that we have is She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. So that first goes to Jennifer Beach.
Okay. Very good. Congratulations. I was thinking
Is Jennifer saying it or what?
that's just when you win. That's just when you win.
She says you don't want me to sing. Okay, the next one.
You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. Now, I knew people would know this one. That was an easy one.
And Joel got it first.
All right, Joel.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Next one.
Did you ever see a whale with a polka dot tail? Oh. We've got some Barney fans.
Down by the bay.
Yeah,
And that was Lori Bean.
very good.
And that was our last one.
That was our last one. I used to say before I had children that my children were not going to like Barney. I worked in childcare and he was big at the time. And I tell you the truth, when they come along, both of them thought the world of Barney and all the songs and stuff. So I had to eat those words, which I've had to do a lot of that over the years. But I bought a Barney costume for Halloween for my daughter, and they, between the both of them, wore it 7 years. So I'm a Barney.
Wow.
I'm a Barney fan now.
Yeah, I'm still not a Barney fan, but
Be careful what you say. That's that's all I'm going to say. Okay, this is going to be our 5th game, I believe, and it's called You Rock. Now, if we were playing this in person, what we would do is kind of like make a circle, you know, like Duck, Duck, Goose. We'd make a circle, and let's say I'm it. I would take, you all would stand with your eyes closed, hands behind your back. I would walk around the circle, you know, several times. No, you don't want to walk around once and give it away. And I would slip a rock into someone's hand. Then you all would open your eyes, put your hands out front, and we would ask somebody to guess who had the rock. If you guess and you're wrong, you're out. So does everybody understand what today I will send somebody, or I'm going to ask Bethany to send somebody in chat a private message that says you rock. And we're going to start letting people guess. And it's a little bit harder. You can't see the whole person, but
yeah. But again, I would say if you can, go ahead and turn your camera back on for this
yes,
one.
please.
some people give tells away by if they're looking at their chat,
Yes,
but,
it wouldn't be fair if you have the rock and you're not on screen, right?
and I'm literally just gonna scroll and close my eyes and pick a random person. So that way I'm not being called out for picking on anybody.
Okay, so you let me know when you have let them know.
I have let the rock person know.
Okay, I'm gonna call on somebody to pick somebody that you think has got the rock. And no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to pick Joel since he was one of the game gurus.
The
You pick-
guru.
You pick who you think has the rock.
Who has the rock? Pamela Milligan.
Pamela?
I do not.
Okay. Then Joel, you can turn your camera off for a few seconds.
You're
if you
dead to
don't
me,
mind.
Pamela.
Okay, now Pamela, you pick somebody to guess.
I'll pick Virginia.
Dr. Jones.
I think that was Virginia's way of saying she did not have the rock.
I do not. I do rock, but I don't have the rock.
Okay.
Okay, so Pamela's out, Virginia's out. So Dr. Wanda Jean, who's your guess?
Yes.
It ain't nobody but Velvet with that rock. Velvet.
Velvet, we can see you, but you're muted.
What makes you think it's Velvet?
Why wouldn't it be? You absolutely rock.
I do rock. Thank you.
Oh,
She's not the
I have
rock
the
though.
Oh, okay.
oh, but you don't have it.
Yeah, she does rock, but she
I
did
do.
not have the rock.
Oh, you faked us out.
Yeah.
I'm taking my screen back and I'll turn off my camera since I'm out.
So Miss Velvet, who do you think has the rock?
I will say Pamela Milligan. Oh, she's already been. I'm sorry. Let's choose again. Emma Davidson.
No, sorry, don't have the rock.
Okay.
Who's your pick?
I will pick, let's see, Sarah Adams.
I am not the rock. Let's see, I will pick Kim Copeland.
I rock.
Ah.
So Kim was the rock, and I do totally promise that was totally, I scrolled and did a random pick.
You playing favorites for your team?
No, I swear
My
to God.
favorite.
I did a completely random pick. So if you guys like that one, I'd say let's do it one more time. I think that was fun, and we didn't get to even everybody anyway. So
All right, we've got time to do it again.
okay, so let me do
So-
another random. Let me.
So everybody's cameras are back on. We're waiting.
Okay,
Okay.
and Glenn, I let you know who it is so that way we
I-
don't start with that person. But
Right. So if I don't start with you, it's possible that you've got the wrong. So let me start with Emma Davidson. Emma, you pick someone.
Okay, how about Michelle Lowe?
Michelle.
Nope, I do not have the rock.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's do Donna Stafford, do you have the rock?
No, I don't have the rock.
Okay, Donna, you pick someone to guess.
Okay. Carla Willis.
No, I don't have the rock. But I think Linda Files has the rock.
Linda,
I do not have the rock. So I'm going to guess Rachel Corvo has the rock.
I do not have the rock. I'm going to choose Lori Bean.
I do not have the rock. I was trying to look guilty. I was trying to look like I had the rock.
It worked, girl. It worked.
Did I look guilty? I will pick. Did anybody pick? I can't, and I can only see a few faces on my screen, so I'm having to look at the list of participants over here. Did anybody pick Xenia?
All right, no, I don't have the rock.
remember, if you've guessed and you were wrong, turn your camera off.
You can change your view.
I do not have the rock. Sorry.
He has.
Nope. But I believe that Joel has the rock.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job, Tina.
He was looking too innocent.
We had three people trying to look guilty, and then we had Joel looking innocent that had it. You all were good. That's a good game. You all think you would like to use that in a training?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It worked out really good, even with the number that we have. So what did you all like about today? What have you liked about the games that we have played? Or what have you disliked?
I like the fact that you practiced them and let us see them in, in action. So that way, if we do
On the web or
Anyone else want to share what they liked or didn't like?
Carla, I think you were saying something, but then it cut you off.
oh, has someone shared that they liked the flexibility of being able to play them either in person or on a Zoom call?
Nope. Thank you for sharing that. Now, if you remember, and you've adapted all these 5 games have been adapted to face-to-face or virtual. And if you've got that already in your toolbox, you won't be caught off guard for one. You always have in the back of your mind, no matter which way your training goes, if you have to switch it to virtual real quick or vice versa, you are prepared. And you can adapt them to include the information you want in them. If you want it to pertain to your training, if you want to get your participants started thinking about what you're going to be talking about, that's always a good way. And it's a good way to get to know other people. So
I agree with that. And I think too, these games, any game, kind of brings out the competitive nature of people that don't know each other. But that's one thing that we share in common as human beings. Most of us do have a little bit of game in us, a little bit of play. So I loved how, all of the songs that we were guessing, they were related to children. So you must have done that on purpose and those words. It's just that Joel somehow has an internet connection that is better than the rest of ours. And how was he getting everything right so fast?
It's that fast typing skills.
He must be.
I loved when you had her, I loved when you had Dr. Wanda Jean sing the winning song. That was a fun element.
Well,
And
and
she
in
turned that
chat,
well.
in chat, we also had someone who said that they like the variety of games, especially when there's less or more involvement for the participants. So it's good for their level of safety.
Mhm.
So there were some that definitely let you kind of sit out without being obvious you were sitting out, or be more in the background and everything. So again, that definitely does help when you've got a room that you may or may not know their level of comfort in doing these. The versatility, we had a lot of people say that they really enjoyed the scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Also the majority stays, even though that one kind of, to me, was the hardest and flopped a little bit more when
Me
we did it
too.
virtually.
I agree with you.
But then Dr. Wanda Jean also said, especially incorporating that movement in the scavenger hunt.
Mhm. Well, overall, I think it come off really well. You all liked a lot of the games and just playing, and we didn't do a lot but play today. We've not really done any kind of work, as we would call it. I appreciate your all's attentiveness, and is there anything else anybody would like to share about your likes and dislikes? The first game, I agree with Bethany, didn't go as planned, but you all adapted, and we did too. So that was good. We pulled it off anyway.
Lori did ask. Sorry.
I also like the fact that you could play them at any time during the training.
Yes. Yes. I like a game that you can use for any situation.
Yeah. Lori did ask if we could send out a brief description of each game. So we don't currently have that in a document, but that's something Glenn and I can work on, and then we'll upload that into the trainers connection, the online community, with the video from this session as well. So we will get that resource put together and get that available for everybody too.
Well, I'm excited that people want to play them again, that they liked them. And I think somebody else was going to say something.
I think
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was curious about the rock. You rock. I wasn't clear on how you play that in person, but if there's going to be an explanation, I can wait for that.
Well, have you ever played Duck, Duck, Goose?
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
similar to that. Only you put the rock in their hand and then you go around the circle with letting people guess who has it in, when you're in person. And if you guess wrong, you step back away from the circle. That's how you know you're out.
So like everyone could have their hands behind their back and then
keep their hands behind their back the whole
Yeah.
time then.
Mhm.
Then that way. Okay.
right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I like that game.
I was just going to mention that, you were asking us in the first game to raise our hand or be on camera. But depending on the platform, if it's a virtual meeting, it will be interesting to see, which meetings that you could do those
Mhm.
reactions, raising of the hands, to put things together. And then all of these would take the, the virtual instructor led or being in person. I don't think someone could just log on and do a self-paced course, like a recording or a webinar, and participate in these sorts of games. So it wouldn't be good for a webinar.
No, this requires a lot of, we're not in person, we're virtual, but there's a lot of interaction going on.
Okay, with the instructor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you could still possibly do a one-on-one scavenger hunt, to where if you were able to give them a list of things related to the training, and then they could snap a picture of it and email it or submit it within the webinar type things, to where it's still and then they could maybe like time themselves. You could make something like that be a little bit more of a one-on-one, just to put a little bit of fun into it.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. How easy would it be to use these games if your face-to-face suddenly became virtual? Do you think you all would be able to adapt them from face-to-face to virtual or other games that you play? How easy would it be to store those in the back of your mind and just be able to pull them out when you need them? Okay, Joel thinks it would be easy. I'm assuming that's what you gave me the thumbs up. Good.
So I was just thinking about the one that like the majority stays, like if that was set up as a poll, you know, that might have been easier to see. I mean, you know, you could see how much the majority was or whatever. It would have been easier to tally potentially. As a thought that just popped into my brain. But I think that that's kind of fun. And I also think that you could totally adapt that for content, you know?
Yes.
You were doing children's stories, you could do like book titles, or if you're doing, you know, art activities, you know, whatever your topic is, like you could come up with some really fun questions.
Yes, a lot of these are able to be, you know, manipulated for the purpose of whatever the trainer is training.
And I think these are level easy too, because
Yes.
they're different than like a Kahoot,
Mhm.
where you would have to go and program the Kahoot and launch it on the screen, have people typing in codes to get in. So these would be like really easy to pull out quickly. I agree
Yes.
with Joel on that.
Anybody else have anything they would like to say? Questions I would like to ask, or?
Can I just have my training and then you come too? And then I'll say, and now we're going to give it to Glenna. She's going to play a game with us.
I'll think about it.
You
Are
were the perfect game show.
Are you going to be singing? Are you?
We're gonna do a duet if I have to do it. We'll have to do it.
We might be singing to a empty crowd.
We'll do the Kenton, me and Jennifer will do the Kenton County Quartet.
Okay. Now,
Two more of you ought to help us.
as my son tells me, I sound good in the choir. As we're singing in the car, so I take it I don't sound so good in the car. Do you all have any games that you rely on in training? Something that's always worked, that's never failed, that you could play anywhere with, you know, with any crowd? Any suggestions that others might like to hear or might like to add to their toolbox?
I've done Jeopardy games. And with the kids, they like things like matching, or
yes,
do what's hot, what's not, what's safe, what's not safe. Concentration, you know, you can do slides where you want to match. I do a lot of safety stuff. So a bike helmet, and then they'll, you know, they'll pick another number one, and they'll turn the card over. And this is all virtual.
Wow.
Or you can do it in a PowerPoint, that kind of stuff. So that's always fun.
Right, and people tend to enjoy those things too. I agree. Anybody else have games they would like to share?
Dr. Wanda Jean typed in that she plays the 26 algorithm.
I've never not had fun playing that. So basically there's a scientific algorithm that says, if you get 26 people in one room, the odds are very positive that 2 of those people will share a birth date. So I'm August 3rd, and we would just go around the circle, and then those 2 people win. I just had one. We had a women's business connection, and got all the way to the end, and 2 of those women were November the 25th. It was crazy.
Wow.
And you get goosebumps every time you figure out, oh my God, the algorithm is never wrong. So, but you have to have at least 26 people. If you have 26 or more, it's going to work.
Oh.
And if you try to count the people on this call, Joel, because I know you, we don't have enough people.
We may have to try that for FET when we do our next face-to-face, if we have that many participants. That'd be
Yeah,
just
that would
something
be
fun to do.
neat to see. That reminded me though, when I was researching and looking for games, there was a game that the participants, you all had to memorize people's birth dates. One person, would stand up or come on camera and give their birth date, and then you had to remember the birth date out of so many. But I had hopes that we would have a good crowd like we had today, that it would be too much to do that when there's 2 pages of people on my screen. That's interesting. I've never heard of that. Let's remember that.
As you all were talking, I was trying to think of prizes that could match some of the games we played today. But Wanda Jean, with your game, I immediately thought of just having a small birthday cake, cupcake. That could be the prize for that game. Does anybody have any ideas about prizes for the games we played today that would go along with those? I just think that's something that could enhance it even more.
You could send them a card snack. So as long as you have people's phone numbers, there is a app called, or even online, called a card snack. I'm not sure who named that because you don't eat it. But I guess as the facilitator, you can just say thank you, and it's a little card that might animate and open up with flowers, and it's just fun to look at on the on your phone. A digital gift.
Interesting.
And Jennifer also said a painted rock or a pet rock for the You Rock game. That could be a neat prize.
That is a neat prize.
And Jennifer earlier had also said another one that she plays is trivia bingo, where you ask a trivia question and the answer is the next bingo call. I cannot say I've ever played that before.
I don't think I have either. Interesting. We're learning all kinds of things today.
And then Dr. Wanda Jean also said she put in a link to a draw-a-saurus. So I'm guessing that's one where you draw.
Yeah, one person on the call draws. It's a digital game. I do a lot of it digital, but one person draws. The system randomly picks the person who will draw, and then you're looking at a screen and you have no idea, but you're trying to type in what the person is doing, and you can make your own room. It doesn't cost anything to use that.
Kind of like Pictionary, it sounds like.
Exactly like it.
Oh, that's some great ideas.
Yes, a lot of good ideas today.
There's another game that we used to do with our little group when we'd go traveling, that would be able to be something that we could do like this with our trainings. And that is, I'm going on a trip and I'm going to take my pink ballerina shoes. The next person says the same thing and adds what they're going to put. And the next person says what we've said and adds to it, all the way to the end of the last person speaking or repeating what everybody else has said, plus adding.
Wow. Interesting.
And then Rachel Corvo also put in digital kudos are fun to use as well. And Danita Schaefer had said prizes for games. When they do staff trainings, they give prizes for games like little gift cards or little things the teachers would need in their classrooms and different things like that.
Well, how neat. That makes it a little bit more competitive, I guess, too. Anybody have any more questions or comments or anything of that such? Okay, I believe our next trainer connection is refresh self-care. It's getting close to the holidays, and sometimes we are too busy and to add extra stuff to our list, and we need to learn a few techniques of taking care of ourselves. That will be Tuesday, October the 25th at 2:00. Your registration link will come to you from your training coach a little later. And if you had a good time today and had fun, come on back on October the 25th and visit with me and Bethany again.
And the information will also be in your trainer talk, which will be coming out in October. So you can also look for the details on that within the trainer talk as
Yes.
well. So
Any more questions or comments or? I appreciate you all being here.
Thank you. I'll give you a round of applause.
well, thank you guys as well, because we wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys participating. So we greatly
Exactly.
do appreciate you being flexible, participating and helping us out with it. It was great to see it too.
It was fun. It was fun. Thank you all.